Yasaba, Heda, Munina Masi, a brasso said in Pensenpensenmu Traswa, at the Mamma, Mami Hetty, Adai, happy birthday, Apostolic Empowerment Ministry, Mami Bako, Hono, happy birthday. Jidis and Bunyami Bewa commercial at the amount. Mrs. Hetty, Adai, Miko from Mrs. Salasi, Adai. So now, Bishop Ajina Sari, and also your birthday from afar. We admire you so much, your contribution towards a year Christendom and then the development of a year Mother Ghana and your exemplary life from 20 Bishop Ajin Asari. Happy birthday. So, encore and from now. A brass to see a Pensenpensenmu common one, say, make house at St. Andrew's College, Ultimate Remedial School, as in for Sunafi, Omo Health Care, no, on other Romana San Komowi. Yede bro St. Andrew's College ewo asen fosu sehwe asan so ana mankesim obetima from 0244696911 and 020 no etimi no ding one College of Health Care so on amount it here 2 year ewo eye nursing and as de kaka hu nyina the same number 0544 830179 and 0244696911 St. Andrew's College of Healthcare Assembly American for Ediamau and Anope CD capsules, CD ointment, yada Jumeko on this in Nuya Bejaso capsules no Center for Scientific Research into Plant Medicine Ajiatum serve as an immune booster. Emanipano Nipediana Hoding or Quanstrom Kusukra Sanso na CD ointment national wapono waposo honam baby ayo yebiano kai hunu se CD ointment where they be for summer bibia etimi di mo ewie payo o kan shi drug lane obehu on wo no bo bia ton so honom Ecus Pharmacy, Gafsen Pharmacy Kofodia, Danny Herbal Kumasi Ashtown, Anafi Pharmacy, Drugstore and Herbal Shops ahodo nyina ewo omam unyebio Lashibi Shalom Sport one bay 19 Junction eho ana obehu eye wonu tina nkasa 0209 682 0505 767 Hampton and Jensen so kosobo nka say erefie wo so ne opesa blood sugar level no so low na lungs so etimi perform well na afi mood swing ne ma bia hu hia no eyi fro preko edema wa Hampton and Jensen so kai wo say adea bibia beko kama ede amount Prophet Ato Sam also ajibra also o hwebi also good morning to you anyway ajibra o hwebi na yeka say kan ya den time hwebi dwani no say director communications ya bo abena samwa atenase over ya na poti say
nyame madumpa
nsemo ho ma we ne papa
sa
nsemo ho
nsem de bia de bachi
ena de dutwem
sa wampa o kasa de ade se ai e bzo uzrase
de metibe busa
uzrase wo de uzrase
ne mnyafo Edward Bawa anope odu studio ano nkomo bia akoso no ne ho ato no anu ye bia me de ama no bia no obu agufom na oni henti no intimi kan kesi intimi busa ododo na rawo Edward Bawa kwa ba
ye nu ya design
bibia e ka wa
mischief na o start na
Edward net we man hu no asa de wa kesi
abai papa
me my then o
abai papa waso a
je over start this come on over start come on
abai papa waso a so otena se no be share we die no
that's right
ana me hwe na ho fasuo no
that's right
na me oduru ana me ka say ompa bo nya me anim yi enti se abai papa waso a uhunu se wadwendwen ne wo haw ene o mra yo bibia no ehye ne ho kama on that note of abai papa no ana mo abai no so nam kwati kwan ade asotro mienu ama eprekopa agyae ani ha ene de ne enim se nsuo ene kane ho asem eye free mo de amanyo se mo bo mo den ji Ghana 42 mu na se ni menhwa ha eni ha menhwa o shekata le ma se o yelo ya jidu o me kan tiro se kamna kame you want but technically the wow krata o de atumani mi
Freddy ya technicalities bia ya concept da
ba se na Ghana for binumu enti asie no ya to sin kakra di yaw. What is the real picture I'm person put on this matter of free water na free energy sepuan te kunika prebi e dia so abas.
Amai medasi. Honorable, me chia.
Me just. No be find it.
Nyame ayalo. Good. Me na me chia Ghana fo nyina ye besen timu biom say COVID how enjoy yen bu enu nti na ye nyina kwabrane ete ho a de tua ne hwenani na enu a ho nhihye COVID ho nhihye enam 2020 ye ko mu a na wo se aban ye niema ebebu nipadua ho ban nti eduru ba bi no ye mampanyi ka kire wiase afa na nyina se ekwan ye faso ebu nipa ho ban ene wo se ye ko afise ye hwiri nipa nka ye ntimi nsan fa ne mba na ye sika sem ni ade de eto apia ye wo ebere ene adaje ye betimi ahyehye nti 2020 no ye sika sem dodo no ko se ye besiesi ye ho etia COVID nti ye peja ye hyehye mu ema COVID eye afomdin hyehye testing centers na o si peja bibiri mu prekope se be ya sa testing na ebe ho amayen na edom dodo ehia no ye nsaka ejina ye tracing testing and treatment so nti sika ko mu pa ansana frontline workers omo ka ho no nso na o si ehwe omu sika sem mu nti ye tete omo taxes efiri ho ene ye san more allowances na ewo se eno nso eboa emom ko wonim na yetimi hwe nipa no nko so saa kwa eno nti aban ye nhyehyeye a ahokyere bia na nipa ekomu lockdown no mni ade na wo se aban ye nhyehyeye ma eno nso ye ho ekodimu na ye hwen nipa no nti ne mache sikache kakra fence aduane che na aban eka se be ye ho be ha ye nti ye nko ne yaba ye nko adwumam enso ye tifie e wo se edidie e wo se so kanea e wo se enum nsuo eno nti wodi ye kanea aka ache saa afi no aka no wodi ye kanea aka oye no bosome miensa eche no san atwi mu se afi ewia na san ma ye nsuo no kura se no hwe a esan ko Kenya ye nsuo se ma fi se ba bi ho na omo nhye da ni nsuo a omo betimi aka so omo kobu no kwakora nti ma sanitation ministry water and sanitation ministry so eye nhyehyeye bi echiche polytank connect nsuo ewo Ghana afa na
okay edabasi me
enye no ntini ye gito no
ni team papa
enye no ntini ye gito no
badalma me ba edabasi ni team papa no I think say on about na be again as of the time our biomass declaration the emphasis was on free water and electricity in fact water electricity can say unya from a certain age omo de nchirimo ba kama me pese communication ko my education
but say no nka ka asem no ankasa wabusa me maminka asem na ankasa wabusa me se see ya fifufuru ya simu ya ko homa sika saafi we ye gigi tubi African for e de atua kadada no ye free water and electricity ana se e de ntini ya gigi tuo na ye kire se saa ko homa sika na afi we ya ye no enima mienu na aka no e wo se ye didi e wo se ye COVID no kwayenim e wo se ye to aso siesie asoye ya ye de apomuden e fa COVID ho ni ye yankasa general ya apomuden nyina nti ya ya bi si ye si ba 101 agenda 111 e wo ho e wo se insusem no ye to aso ni ye siesie e wo se obo mu ko school no e ma free education o mu to aso e bi ko tertiary level ye yi garanta na firi ho mo bosia asem ne ade na wo se ye sikasem eto aso so ate ase e wo se ye kuya sem eto aso nti saa ni ma we no e ye sika e na ade be ye
okay
na ye sisin ye aye bu ye nkonta aye saa afi we sikasem asiesie no na ehu se ye ntimi nton koso emmo bosia emfa nye niema wo se ye no afise ya dwin se vaccine say ya be se nya nipa 20 million ya be vaccinate wo mo se be ya mfa ni nyina nche yen ya se fa na obi so bre obi awiase nyina obi anko no aba obi adika nti ho ano de ye tiri kwa yenya covax facility no ebi adi kan aba ya no fe nti de ya no fe o si etimi to aso ne etimi dru 20 million sisi ye ne nam vaccine aba nyina ne nam be 700,000 what you say ye de ache but o si etobi nti sa hyehyɛ no nti no ene ye na afi so o si baby medical waste president say 14 centers for medical waste o si na fia Nema we nyina esikasem. Na saa sikasem no, ya adwin se baabi aduro no. Ye nmo bosia emro so biem. Afi de ye ne aban ye ni chefamu no, na private sector nso bo aban. Na yetimi hu si ada ye ho so se Ghana fo. Ye kura yaade mu ne ye koyanim. Afisi yenim da covid to betwa. Na hwan no de omba obosia na ono so ne ho kire no. Eno nti ne yesi ntoku ato nketenkete we dia yese asori obi anso yeso yemu nketenkete so yemu na ade no kra de se yeso yemu nketenkete dia san jemu e wo baabi so ati ase wo hwe friend say tax stamp no a ye free ho no a e ka wo mo bre pa wo man mu ha omo so ne do so pa nti ase omo ye nyom tax stamp sa afia kai nti wo no bodwa AMF beba no me ade no say nya wuntua so ahon ya meche no nti wo ho be han wo na afi nso akoda petrol so no commercial vehicles almost omuntua DVL no for the rest of the year nti the everybody say petrol no ya tum kakra no say tro to a ye check kan good nipa bebre so nti se wo body 2 gallons bi gumu a okoba denta no edomo before mako asan ba ne ade no eche egu omo so kitin so ho na enka nipa baako widi en tofom so ati ase ne ye nyina ye susom kakra nti ye ko akoyanim
okay
ye ko akoyanim nti o kan watra se o ne agigi to de a ebi ase ekwa be na aban eye ni sikasem
okay
agigi to obobosia wo adwuma a wo ya mfaso oba nsa aban wo companies am ye yise mfaso oba eno so ka ho ansa na amano ne busia bi wo ho a friend grant ye de kyeye eno mu emre kakra saa kwa na aban sika nyina eba de say ne yesi busia no ya bre akwachiri dodo
ya pe ways and means
the ways and means no ada say tokonto nkitinkiti ana say ye betwa sika no a ye di tua no e betwa so na ne akoda ko school na dwini mu bie awofo ani age o si metwa free SHS mu afisi sika ni ho
debi
ebe ha ye nyina o si sika ni ho ntimi nto vaccine na eyeka
ehun
sunsanso ana se o si nursefo mi ntua moka biem afisi eyeka se metua moka na sika ni ho ensunsanso be ba no nti ye ntimi nka se niema na ya hya ase na ye di siesie nipa we de ye kotwitwa so eno so ye kwan afoforo bi a otimi ma osika se ma no boa so on na me che se otimi artificial fasting ena o sori a o hwe obotomu a we de anopa mi twa me wache bi ngum de mbekọ the whole day ana anopa yi me hye me ho so na awia makope fufu bi adi eno de mbetwamu akwa anajo ana se ne mini di kura skandam
but just Professor was this is entirely correct as to the delivery or the communication from your ministry. I say the newly approved COVID-19 health levy, which will see the VAT flat rate as well as the national health insurance levy adjusted upwards, will not be used for paying the free water and electricity given to the public in 2020. This is according to the statement released by the Ministry of Finance. The ministry says the claims as being perceived by the public is inaccurate. Information Minister Kojo Oponkromas had earlier indicated that the government's proposed new taxes are to help address the huge fiscal gap created as a result of the government's COVID-19 expenses. He said the government spent about 19 billion Ghana cedi of borrowed funds to provide free water and free electricity, among other expenses, to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. And that amount must be repaid. But the Finance Ministry, in its statement, clarified what the minister insinuated. I quote, The ministry also noted media reports suggesting that the government has announced that the COVID-19 levy is to be utilized in paying for free water and electricity of 2020. Again, this is incorrect. The Minister of Information's comments to the effect that COVID-19 expenses include water and electricity ought not to be misconstrued to mean the new taxes of 2021 are direct charge for those services.
And namno esheto aban eka odie nyina no afibia no otua bi ete se de akobọ bosia e wo bank wo ankura akobọ bosia wo banka ana fanse je fanko akobọ bosia wo banka afi ana bosome ni ate no so ye ti no ye nka se de ye ti de ye di tua mponche ka de ye ti de ye di tua nsuo ka de ye ti de ye di tua nkokọ no ka ye nya ne sa eye wo ka nyina wa bo nyina ye wo bosia wa kwagina ode ye wo dwuma no e na afi ana bosome no ye tetewo nti ehihye da ho se sika bia ye ka bia da ho bia ba onimpa sika bia da ho bia ye bosia bia no afi no obeye won hihye aka se sei na me di tua
I don't know, but in himself, why are we, myself probably included, why are you misconstrued, misrepresenting the facts as has been stated by both the finance ministry and then that of the information ministry? Why?
Na menkase so obekaya about 2 months ago, I say a month ago. Omo de Transparency International a day omo CPI in some nearby in Ghana at also 75th or something. One of the reasons of my say a ma Ghana performance uncle because na no money that there was no transparency in the usage of the COVID funds. That was the reason they gave. Say, yes, position in terms of corruption perception index. No, one of the reasons was that we were not transparent in the usage of our COVID funds. Budgety, I confirm, and we will explain that. When you are assembly, about the and I know that, for example, if you take cityonline.com, the Minister for Information, Kojo Ponkroma, has indicated that the government's proposed new taxes are to help address the huge fiscal gap created as a result of the government COVID-19 expenses. According to him, the government spent about 19 billion. The government spent about 19 billion of borrowed funds to provide free water and free electricity, among other expenses, to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. That, so Nadia quote him, that 19 billion has been paid, has to be paid for some point, at some point. The liabilities we have accrued have to be paid for by the COVID fund expenses. Okay, I just wanted to show that. Look, this is the first, and government spokesperson, no. Yeah. Or no, MPP spokesperson. I can choose not to take it.
Eddie.
No, I can choose not. But that's a party spokesperson. That's a party.
Okay.
He speaks on behalf of the party.
He can choose not to say so on personal.
I can choose not to take it. Because I don't pay out. I don't pay out.
The party has seven on the.
Yes, on the party, in the party, in the when Kojo speaks, who will be. You see, can you edit as a spokesperson? Into KBB, I was saying with some level of value. Could you cast us in you? And you share budget. You share budget. You who say, oh, share COVID related expenses, our budget, it was about 1.7 billion. Then, you can say, now we say 19 billion. We should say, your friends, needing 1.7. But of course, you will be say, could you come? Unima, Usha Sika Yaji, in terms of funding as a result, Usha COVID nearby, IMF my SKB. Bakaya.
IMF World Bank.
IMF my SKB. And that was about 5.8 billion thereabout. African Development Bank MISKB, that was about 405 million B. EU MISKB about 504 million. Then Bank of Ghana covered bonds, I raise here, that's about 10 billion. And they come here 19 billion. Now, Oshe Kojo took that one. Because you can say an anonymity. Okay, so open SKB IBBC here. Near the 10 cities, and just was spending 10 cities. Maybe 10 cities, okay, expenditure, maybe we spending 2 cities. And to me, catch him say, we spending 10 cities.
Okay, so what you mean is that the fact that in about 19 billion doesn't mean that we spent all that
money. That's the first aspect. 2, Ministry, and my sister station, Joy FM, did a story. You know, the Ministry of Finance statement was a rejoinder to your work you did, job number. Then Ministry of Finance, they spent around 8-point-something billion. The projected amount was around 11-point-something billion, but they spent around 8-point-something billion. Now read the statement very well. Part of the expenditure, for example, was to provide seed money for the establishment of a development bank. Have you read the statement? What is this statement? Oh, let me read that part for you. You see, and that is, you see, the MPP government thinks that and sometimes when they issue statements or when they talk, say ya kanu, just say I say ya no emundo enti. Good. Paragraph 3. Joy News claim that COVID-19 expenditures amounted to only 1.7 billion is therefore incorrect because the 1.7 billion reflects expenditures on only 2 items under the COVID-19 related expenditures, namely COVID-19 alleviation program and emergency preparedness and response plan 1. Other COVID-19 expenditures were COVID-19 alleviation program 2, COVID-19 preparedness plan 2, provisions of health infrastructure, seed fund for capitalization of development bank, among others. Seed fund. Somebody 2 years ago, as part of the government, quote and unquote, financial, mop-up, I didn't know more yet. Okay, I said, kind of, the government was contemplating establishing a development bank. How do you take seed money for development bank as part of COVID-19 expenditure? I don't know whether I get the point.
2 separate variables.
How do you take the payment of interest on our loans, interest payments, as part of COVID-19 expenditure? How do you give me the reason that I'm a second the Maya? I must say, I will see a 20 or see a 20. Meanwhile, you and I know, sir, emergency relief I don't know the Maya from IMF. No, it has a moratorium of 20 years. I know that you're getting the point. Yeah, so until the 20 years,
what is the pressure? What is the stress?
You're starting fear. So when you give all these reasons, then you have your spokesperson say that you spend 19 billion. Then you have your budget. Eka say spending 1.7 billion. Then you have Minister of Finance say spending about 8 billion. The Osha Minister of Finance and Kasa expenditure no mama na. Osha a big near covered asem. So when you use this as a basis to increase taxes, first question may be then assistance from the time covered by any. Because minia covered by now President Ebien and Oka say Eka say oh because covered by anything Obama yensuo free. Lifeline users of electricity beko free. Yeah, can 50% of our monthly bills. Maybe. And the reason was because because I then a friend saying COVID na bama. Share much last year and compare much this year. Aye woman. So much na yarena ba. Na share much this year woman. When has the disease become more serious? This is the time the disease has become. In fact, this time, if you look at the number of deaths, Yes. Edoko. Who share the number of infections. Who share nkofo mo.
Stop fighting it.
I get the point. So if you
what did you just say?
It doesn't mean we've stopped fighting it. To say,
no. Until them,
your analysis. So if that you share buy now,
yes. And then if you sit down today, and you on the basis of the fact say, you remember the last time, freebies, and suddenly now when it is even more serious, at the peak, you are giving them taxes. And let me tell you something. Your explanation of taxes, someone, Minia, one. COVID funds here. The total amount of money is around 800 million. In terms of more projection, it's about 800 million. Most person mudi eden. Mudi eto a bio almost 40 million on bed. Beto vaccines and then as for. We'll come back to the vaccine story. You have not been able to tell us as Ghanaians. Say, of course, COVAX, the COVAX platform. 20% of your population is free of charge. The rest of it is at a subsidized price. You all your communicators no more can. It creates an impression that they cannot rely on the COVAX platform. And so they will want to see how they can do a bilateral arrangement between money producers now. As we speak today, there is not going to be, you cannot do any bilateral until November. Per bookings now, for year for supply of until November. Since everything you can say, and you per se your top vaccine in terms of bilateral Ghana for at when you say you per se top vaccine and if you have to place order, it is in November, then you will get it. Meanwhile, you are indicating to us, you have not even told us what is the unit price of the dues. On the basis of that, more taxes. Osha, after the COVID tax, most of that, I say, your first had in the account who's still about petrol. No, what's it? That's the 20%, 20 pesos per liter on diesel and petrol. No? Which is known as the energy sector recovery. You see, Minia, don't go there. If you go there, I'll mess you up. Look, first and foremost, just around November, okay, I said, can afford to buy the first quarter now, years here. They added 20 pesos per liter on petrol in November, just this November. They added 8 pesos per kilogram of LPG. All as part of trying to see how they could mop up the energy sector debt. Fast forward. More introduce the energy sector recovery levy. And the basis for that is again to take care of the capacity charge. That's a lie. And I explain to you that's a lie. Your own document, Minia, OSHA energy sector, we are friends saying debt now. Or more they cancel a capacity charges. Minia, or more document, and I'm referring you to that document, the energy sector recovery plan that you authored in January 2020. Go back and look at that document. On monthly, so on annual basis, just default of electricity payments, bills. Our ECG accrue, you can say the sika, the power na mo. Our muntimi enya PI in a month. In a year, it's $180 million. So that will give you roughly around almost $700 million Ghana cedis. Out of that, 150 million. And you mean 150 million is owed by MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies. So a bank sell electricity.
There is no
capacity. On annual basis, ECG almost technical and commercial losses are 23%. In terms of monetary, in terms of sika, ufa losses no, calculate sika na $400 million. Okay, it was on the basis of that. And who said that because of that total losses na ebano. And omu decided say you did this compared to assembly because ECG losses were very huge. What's it? No, because I'm my day. What's it?
All the time. One chedi.
Masa when you parliament na obi kasa o person interrupt me.
Me interrupt you.
No, it's
all about the
see, and
we
then,
say time we have so.
okay, so part of the problem that we wanted to solve over this $400 million, and the PSP ni buy no private sector participation or ECG buy no. Minia, me know say why today ECG still has those losses. Me why? A simple procurement process to transition ECG
they brought a lot of
to your friends and PDS on March 1st had all problems. And it was purely based on cronyism, nepotism. And in my opinion, unbridled quest for self-gain. Utimu say, "Chese oma imagine say upe. I was saying yeska, and I was saying this ECG and yeska. It is a hagana mini. There were video clips that were running left and right about people even negotiating behind the scenes.
Those things were not verified.
And I make no.
Those clips. You can have a challenge with the PDS transaction, but those things, other ones.
No, you know something. You can choose. You see, when they
when we know that this is not right, we should not allow those perceptions to feed into people's minds. When we know.
We all know the PDS
is saying no.
That is not what is
yes.
You know something.
I don't want to.
You know why? You know why you? I won't tell you. Do you know what I'm going to tell you?
Why between you and me, talking about the excess capacity.
I'm going to talk about the excess capacity now. Usha me know by our work that we did. In Parliament, when you're in Parliament, when there's an issue, beyond just your document you give me, I go behind the scenes to check on a few things. All of us have our sources. We work on our sources. That is what keeps us active in Parliament. What do I say? I have worked in that sector for 7 solid years.
We know.
And therefore, on the basis of that, there were few people I knew I could get.
And in working on that sector, you know the overcapacities you're installed.
And now, Minia, say my embra, say my main capacity. Just 2 minutes, then you can talk. Minia, the government says that as we speak today, our money installed generation capacity is from somewhere around 4,700. Installed capacity. Yeah, because more power anyway is still under commissioning, so you can see that as your installed. So it's about 4,700.
5,300 according to my.
No. See.
It's not in usage.
You see, because early power. Budget,
no, let's use the 4,000.
So your 4,700.
That's what you prefer using.
You see your 4,000.
But there's other ones waiting for generation usage.
Right. So 4,000. Because those one cannot be giving you capacity charges when you have not made it. So about 4,700. That is what you see. You indicate to us that your available capacity roughly is around 3,700, 4,000, depending on dependable capacity. You can say near per power. Dependable is about 3,700 to 4,000. So let's give you that. You have indicated some peak demand, 2,700 megawatts. Even though we know that last year, at one point, our peak went to 3,000. But let's even say the 2,000. I'm giving you the 2,700. Minia, go and ask your party energy experts. They will tell you that for any system to be very robust, you need a redundancy. So even your system here, you have redundancy, more console here.
In case of emergency.
So you have a redundancy. They will tell you your redundancy should be equivalent to your single largest unit.
What's the percentage of that?
And that your single largest unit in our energy sector is Akosombo. True or false? You have an install of.
It's a percentage. What is the percentage?
We are saying the BB have.
2 minutes.
It's your share no. Akosombo 1,020. But you need to use 1,000 because that's the installed. The available is around 930. So far 930. Your president told us.
Our president.
Nanado told us.
His president was in court.
Nanado told us that 15% of Ghanaians do not have electricity in Ghana. 15% of Ghanaians do not have. By simple proportion, on the 2,700 peak, we'll give about 405. By simple proportion, we'll give you 405. You have Valco sitting down. Each port line is supposed to use 75 megawatts. Almost 5 port lines. That would have been 375 megawatts. Add this, and you are getting, and now the peak now, you are getting 4,410. Where is the excess capacity coming from? But you see, Valco. Because of their negligence, and now I'm working, for just 4 years, NPP has increased access to electricity by just 1.17%. Assuming that the rate Rollins went, the rate at Kufuor went, the rate at Amel'sworth, John Mahama, if they had even done half of it today, because
I don't leave out the mess that you've created in the rate that you have.
See, what is the mess?
Paint the picture as if
somebody deliberately also stampeding. So, excuse me.
For instance, ECG4, one of the challenges they had was that Ubahuna MPB akofa mitana ono de chiche ebewiachi no na si omosi kasa mo ntutu ye any power ne na se for acquire problem. Another problem, and nyoma na modidi juma no, some of the things that you do it out of your political will. It doesn't go structurally. It wouldn't say about the defects.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
What I'm saying is that don't paint a picture. No, hold on, buddy. Don't paint a picture as if that you didn't leave shadows or what? How do I put it?
Minia, Abutre, as a country, and I always want you to refer you to some documents. Go and look at the Energy Institute of KNUST, the 2008 debate, or presidential debate on the energy sector. There were key issues on identifier. One of them was the fact that, because of the 2006 problems, we knew that there was an issue of capacity. We knew that there was an issue of finance. We knew that there was an issue of reliable or security of what we call fuel supply. We knew that these were problems, and that we're addressing. You're addressing here, but Drew, say ECG7, which show 3 functional zones now: distribution, transmission, generation. Now, ECG was the weakest link, and so we needed to work around it. And Ghana opted for the Millennium Challenge Corporation Compact 2 program. At the $499 million grant. At the money say, "Yan fix it, yet me fix it, and ECG to me account for power now. These charges will be reduced." That is what NPP, a buyer, on the basis of just trying to take this for a family.
Please.
What are you talking about? You are pretending family. It is your station is out of it. Your station is out. Your station is out of it.
No, it's not me.
It's me and the boss.
Hold on.
It is totally unacceptable.
Hold on.
What do you mean by station?
It is not about my station.
What is
saying? Hold on. You speak to the facts. But Mama Debiano,
don't speculate.
What is special purpose vehicle Bana Ghana Japadia? Where from the family show can was?
Look, Maminia, you see, that's why when you have a situation, read in between the lines.
You are reading in between the lines when we are educating the people. You are reading in between the lines. Your preferred
read in between
you
the
are
lines.
reading lines.
That one will suit you.
You are reading lines.
It will suit
you are playing games elsewhere. Read lines.
Take your reporters. Let them go out and speak to all categories of people. Everybody knows that this was based on a family.
Okay, so
my main shot is baby or the free. She said, Metrana Kasa, Kweju Kasa, we all speak for the government.
The interest is that Mimi Krameka say, oh yeah, or party a Juma. Forgive us for that. Even though it carries the weight that we should understand, because even your person, Okasa Edimo, because you are even be ditro. But on only as you want to say Kojo Kasa, your fun Ghana and you are saying, I say, I buy buying Nipa, and a Kasa, the only any problem.
You need yoga. You need yoga. You need yoga.
And the Duja come with you. Now, it also means transparency. We are MP. And here, transparency started. Abra wo fa adwen. Odi nkomo. or negotiations, or through a contract, and I say, or implement. Transparency in public life. There were different levels, and it's all by law. So, first level of transparency, and it's all by Parliament, abaji approval for plans. Edwin, anambewa. That's the first level of transparency. You don't plan in public. Nti bibia eba opeso ibia o de beto Parliament. Parliament preswa na wakoye. Oye wia. Wasan bunkunta. Na odi afa the same parliamentary process. Auditor General. No. Emra apa onu se wonhwe nkunta no. Wabehwem nkunta wobu. Odi abeto Parliament. Enim. Public Accounts Committee. Omo ahwem. Enu kra so na chi no. Ansa na obesanya osika foforo bi budget no. Oba wanka South State nkunta no budget and the budget mu na ti ha we bia wo ka se COVID expenditures aban de ani ade ade. Nti wo ka se transparency dia. You don't read between the lines when it comes to transparency. Ayemra. Transparency ayemra. Nti that transparency is there. That transparency no is there. If some random bia ni ho a yebuso. Now, oba COVID expenditures and yet a drone kwa yet on. A drone kwa incidentally COVAX and another 2 million vaccines are coming in by end March.
Yeah, they're supposed to give you up to
another 2 million are coming in
about
end
17
March.
To take care of about 17
kula baluna wo ye fa vaccines na hono. Yen ye what target. Ye pese a bogana for ho ban. Ye pese inya herd immunity. Herd immunity ni chese ye betumi vaccinate dudu bi e beduru ba bi na afa de omo aka ni nyina na be fore wo mo ya vaccinate omo kra omo enya yare enti herd immunity immunity nti ye target ye 20 million vaccines ye nyina na e be nya no fo e was ye to
20 million
that was ye pe hu sika 20 million
people we say 42
million doses 20 million people sana America so what you say that is our target. We are aiming for that. But that is not the only expenditure we are making or made on COVID, because we will continue to make those expenditures on COVID. The difference is that, and then the approach is totally different. The approach is different. Now we are restarting the economy. Say no, yakun COVID edru bebia. Hunu yare ni subai enka person bi o ha studio hakra o senki jaiba studio hakra o senki jaiba. Now we are getting to the stage where we are learning to manage ne dia na wo
Mr. Debio spray nyina
o you for chairman no why ne o ke se akwa slow radio o ti o sa slow o penchiri Ghana ni obeja na nkodo na yi no ti horo o preside. So we have learned yes here if last year no and I did also boy ho abaso enye president nkwa president nhihia wa ye no a Ghana for edition no aboa ama sese no COVID no yehunu nani so ade hunu bi ama yen abibrim ha Ghana ye ya de che wiase afa na bibre where COVID is concerned bibre.
But they have no worry. COVID is can acquire
meba
how do you explain the seed money part of the World Bank?
Can you explain?
Program a year for COVID no. The friend no Ghana Cares about Tampa program Ghana Cares. Ye the bar parliament statement obey. Say sad no. It was in two phases. Phase 1 was to give relief to Ghanaians. Into phase 1 na ye lockdown you and the free electricity no water no near that. In ye chiche come out small loans almost 300,000 people. You achieve over 500 million.
What are your politics? You transferred it to your people during
elections. This was on the internet.
What do you say?
I was sending them by mobile money to their party papers. Massa.
That is not correct.
Yeah, we are making we did it online. It's like NAPCO. It's like NAPCO. It's like NAPCO.
Also, chinchina amu chama party.
Then I'm chama.
No, kasi.
In what way? No, chama.
Mami can we?
No.
Oh yes, I am.
You don't feel that way. No.
The recipients. In Adom people are crying online.
What are you talking about?
No.
Look,
Edward.
No. He should call it into this program. I contested election.
No.
Let's move forward.
Let's move forward. Yes. Because you see, hold on. I'm coming. MBSSI. And you want to say, look, and you want to say,
transferring money to
no, I have heard this, and they were just I can bring their phones to you. How many NPP people?
No, but honorable. MBSSI. And you want to say MPP from Kwano.
Minia.
And you want to say MPP from Kwano.
Look, Omahine, I was on the ground.
Not right.
I was on the ground.
Yes, sir.
Edward. Constitution now campaign.
Where is scheme?
Listen, bra.
I'm telling you.
Look, all the candidates. Look, call anybody from any constituency.
What?
I'm serious. That's what we're doing. They use it.
I'm telling you.
It was one of our biggest problems.
300,000 people have received those monies, and the majority of them are NDC people. It was done online.
Because I know that
it was done online.
I am telling you.
It was done online.
Go back and profile the people, the recipients.
Online.
Who are on the ground?
How do you profile online?
I'll profile it from my country. The recipients.
Online applications.
But meanwhile, we want you to explain to us how COVID. How do you spend?
Okay, so
what is the relation between the establishment of
the same
thinking?
It is the same
thinking. We want to help our institutions to
yes,
really
but
be
when the
on
institutions are corrupt,
that young lady, brilliant young lady.
No. It's okay.
What did you not
tell? I said, what dance here?
Me what dance here?
No near Chema party for me. See the how they disagreement. MBSSI, no. And yet NDC MP. But the first year, it's okay. I
am telling you that
it's okay.
I stand by my word.
Edward, you grow economy.
Is the worst
lockdown
since 1983.
You buy vaccine.
Since
you buy you buy a kitty and no at
the time when you have already increased fuel prices. I don't know what 100% since 2016.
Okay,